All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Bruno Buquerque here from ELT in Brazil. This is Walter, my partner in this project. And today we will continue this series on analyzing course books with Open World by Cambridge University Press. So like, subscribe, send the video to your friends, and I'll see you after Vinheta. Pa.
All right, folks, we're back. So today we're going to talk about Open World by Cambridge University Press. Again, this is not a pirate version. This is a sample unit provided by Cambridge University Press. Bruno, first thing, we got this grammar lesson. This is upper intermediate level, mind you. Look, we have a picture.
First is open intermediate.
Yeah, this is upper. This is upper B2, isn't it? First is
first certificate isn't it B1?
No, first is the old FCE.
Okay.
And B1 is preliminary, which is the old
all right.
PET.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, sure. First thing is, let's take a look at the layout. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exercises plus that did you know and one picture, right? Bruno, what do you think about it?
I think it's very clear. I think it's quite long. So very similarly to what we saw in Life, right, by National Geographic. You've got a bunch of exercises that you might need some curatorship to decide what goes in the lesson and what doesn't, right? Because I feel that if you do exercise 1 through 7, oh, come on, say you take 10 minutes for each exercise, that's 70 minutes, right? And you didn't even get out of the book. So depending on the length of your lesson, I think you should consider that. But it's very clear. You got 1 through 7. The numbers are very well marked. You have some blank spaces for notes. It's fine.
I particularly like the font here. You know, I do like the way the exercises are set out. If you're a person who likes organization, this looks good. But if you're a person who likes you prefer your course book to be one of those full of pictures like National Geographic usually does, maybe you won't like this as much. Still talking about the layout, but now already stepping into the rationale behind everything, Bruno. Did you see this?
Video part?
Yeah, there is a video here. And if you click on it, there is a video which is pretty much a video explanation, isn't it?
It's a 2-part video. Do you think people would be able to scan this so that they can watch it? Can you zoom in a little bit more? So that maybe if it's big enough on YouTube, I think people can
you can
scan it. Yeah. So, okay, scan it. All right. It's a 2-part video. From what we saw, the first part is like an animation, like a very cute animation of characters talking and using gerunds and infinitives. And then the second part is a very deductive explanation, a very explicit explanation on the use of gerunds and infinitives and verb patterns, right?
And what do you think is the rationale? Why do you think there is a video with an explanation in the book? I like, my opinion is that maybe that was done because you're already thinking of something well, reasonably recent, which is a flipped classroom. So you're like, you're thinking like, no, maybe the students, so we're already talking about it is part of the rationale, but it is part of the approach of the book, right? So what do you think is the approach here? What do you think is the framework of the lesson?
That's a good question.
To me, because we start with the presentation, so I would say
there's control practice and freer practice.
Maybe a PPP.
Yeah. Seems like it.
Yeah, so maybe a PPP, but you do have a flipped classroom that you can do with this. When you look at this question, what is the form of the words after the verbs in bold? Like bare infinitive and full infinitive that you have in there, like bare infinitive in the first one, and I'm sorry, full infinitive in the first one, and then present participle in the second part, and then you're going to talk about students will do that, but then they have a whole, we don't have that page here, grammar reference. But here's the thing, I think that the author wants the student to do most of that. Like, okay, there is not a part in the book in which, okay, analyze this, why is this happening? There is nothing very inductive. It's mostly read this explanation, then do the exercise, which makes the lesson quite deductive again, don't you think?
I do, but I feel it's quite flexible. Because when I see a video with examples of use, this can be used to teach inductively. If you stop the video there in the animation, and you finish the animation, you stop the video, and then you go to exercise 1, look at the sentence from the conversation between Ali and Chloe, which I think it's the very first conversation in the video, so it would take you a minute and a half of the video. Then it becomes inductive. So what do you see in the video? What is that? Yeah, so maybe not even a minute and a half, just 40 seconds. 40 that would be enough, right? And then you can teach it inductively, or you can teach it deductively, because I feel that deductive teaching is very teacher friendly when it comes to novice teachers or teachers who are not that proficient in the language. So having a video with the grammar explanation in the book means that if by any chance this teacher is not able to provide this grammar presentation, there is one in the book, right? So and then taking it to this book was not made for the Brazilian context, but taking into account that most Brazilian teachers of English are B1, having a video explaining the grammar, which is not easy grammar in my opinion, the use of gerunds and infinitives is quite tricky, right? Having this here is very comforting for the teacher. You know, I mean, I would watch this video before teaching the lesson, and I'm one of the most fortunate teachers who, you know, who's had the opportunity to get a good level of English, mostly because of my parents. Thank you, Mom, if you're watching this. But I think this is great.
Yeah,
I think this is great.
I do think it's great. I do think that there is one thing that we didn't say, which is learners' autonomy, right? If you're, you know, you're just handling that you're just handing that to the students, like, okay, you do the work, you do the reading. If you're gonna do a flipped classroom, that could be very interesting. Okay, so you have to watch this video, and you assign one, for example, because you said there are too many exercises in the book.
Can you expand on the flipped classroom concept? Just so that everybody is on the same page.
Basically, you get students to do something to study instead of you teaching them. You assign something for them to study before the lesson, and then when they come to the classroom, then I would still have a language presentation, but I would do it very inductively and have them explain each other what they understood from whatever it is the topic that they had to do it at home. So before the lesson, so they study before the lesson. So I myself, I would assign the video. I would assign exercise 1 and maybe exercise 2, because I'm already testing in exercise 2, but I wouldn't correct exercise 2 when they get to the when they get to the classroom. Oh, okay, let's correct. Let's see. No. Let's do okay, you had the video. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about exercise 1. If necessary, I'm going to have a presentation and we're going to systematize the language. And only afterwards, I would ask, okay, having said all of that, do you want to change anything here in exercise 2 that you did as homework? And then give them some thinking time, maybe give them time to check in pairs. We check together, and then you move on with the lesson. But just as you said, and Bruno said that before, we have lots of exercises here. Bruno, well, first, do you want to expand on that, on the flipped classroom? No? Yeah.
I think those. Yeah, because whenever we come with these concepts, I feel it's interesting to say what they are, right? Yeah.
There is one thing that
I like this this idea of yours of students you systematize and then okay, now look back at your exercise, see if it matches with our rules now, and then make any changes. I think it's interesting.
And mind you, this topic itself, verb patterns, it's something that they're always trying, like, well, why? So sometimes they conceptualize, they come up with reasons for one or the other. It's something so complex, right? All right, but then, Bruno, what do you think of the types of practices that it's offering? So when you look at exercise 2, you have a gap fill. When you look at exercise 3, work with your partner and discuss the sentence in exercise 2. Do you agree with the speaker? So you go from a gap fill, now you have a little bit of speaking. And then
it's a communicative exercise, very simple but interesting, right? Just do you agree with the sentences? And then I would definitely do something like change the sentences you disagree with so that you agree with them, right?
Make it true for you. Make it true for you. Yeah, I love those.
Absolutely,
and then you see that the cycle repeats itself, right? Because you go in there, they will do a listening exercise, they will complete the gaps. And this is something that we have mentioned. This exam is pretty exam focused. Right. So the thing is, I think you can do something if you have students who are preparing for the first exam, you can do something very exam focused with this. But I would need to listen to the audio to know if it's possible to work with sentence completion. Because if it's just if it's not like that, if the sentences that you have here are exactly what the speaker is saying, then that wouldn't work. It becomes just another grammar exercise. That's what it is, right? You were not practicing anything in terms of skills for the exam. But then you have another speaking part. Read the extract exercise 4 and look at your answers. What is the difference in meaning between each pair? Okay. It's a little bit of critical thinking together there, maybe.
So stop the thing with I stopped smoking and I stopped to smoke, right? It's a very nice exercise.
Yes. And then you have circle the correct option. And then finally, we get something more personalized in exercise 7. Write one sentence for each of the points. And now students are actually going to personalize. And then they're going to, even though you don't have that, but of course, you're going to have them speak and talk together, right? I like this book very much, I gotta say.
I do. I like it too. And I was thinking, for this activity, circle the correct option, number 6. You can get students to draw, for, of course, students who like more, how do we say that? Because I forgot the word. Activities that are not usually seen as formal studying.
More, okay. More playful, let's say.
Yeah,
more
playful. But what is the word in Portuguese? I'm becoming bilingual.
Is it like more kinesthetic? Is that the word?
No, meaning okay.
Kinesthetic.
Lúdico.
But more hands-on, you
Lúdico.
mean?
Yeah.
More hands-on.
Yeah. I would get students to draw flashcards and draw actual pictures to show the difference between stop to smoke and stop smoking. And then make some like shuffle the cards and then what's this sentence? Oh, this is stop to smoke or stop to smoking, and play with the
Bruno,
expressions a bit.
has everybody ever told you you're such a teacher?
Yes, I've heard that before. because I think it would be fun.
But you know, just your very thinking of that while you're looking at the task, this actually shows me the like there is a lot of, you know, who you are in the classroom, in the things you say and the way you would like. While I looked at the exercise, the previous one, and I'm already thinking of an exam focus exercise. How can I do this in an exam focus way? And then you were looking at exercise things like, how can I make this more playful? And that's interesting. And I have to tell you, I think that there is something very dangerous about having it. I see this, I look around, I try not to see it, but I keep seeing it, which is people using exam focus exercises as though they are used to develop skills in terms of listening and reading. Okay, so I'm going to give my student a sentence completion or a multiple choice, just like the Cambridge exams, the mainstream exams, or keyword transformation. How is that really helping the student? How is that like developing the skill of reading? What about actually giving them a question and having them listen and write something instead of choosing options in a multiple choice? Because you have to face it. Why are students asked to do exams in terms of listening and reading multiple choice or writing very few words? Because it's easy to correct that, right? So I think we have to be more critical about the types of listening and reading exercise that you have in these books, and sometimes even grammar. I see a lot of keyword transformations coming out in materials, especially those that are more. But then again, why do you have an exam focus book? Because if you go to places like Vietnam, for example, you go to university. I think you can only finish if you pass IELTS with a certain grade.
Oh, nice.
You cannot finish that. That you will not graduate if you don't pass, if you don't get a good grade in English. And then in China, in countries in like many other countries, you do need to have that grade. So a lot of people are becoming too exam focused, and I think you kind of you let go of the, you know, the fun of learning. You let go of the, I mean, how do I put this? I mean, like, are you learning or are you preparing for an exam? You know, so maybe that's the thing. And this is an exam focus book that has interesting exercises. So I do like the types of practice that you have. I just maybe like really focus on the group. Is the group really going to take the test? Because that would inform the options, the choices you make when you're selecting the exercise you're going to do in the classroom.
And if the group is not going to take the exam, this is a very funny choice of material.
Yes.
Right. I mean, Cambridge University Press, they have other books which are not focused on exam skills, such as Empower, right? Empower is not an exam preparation book. So might want to go for this kind of material and not an exam prep.
But then it goes to the choice that the institution is going to make, because the institution hopes the students will do the exercise. And the thing is, many students get to the, if the student's going to get to the exam and they never took a prep course,
they're going to need a prep course.
Which is like a much better choice to me, to study general English. And then if you're going to take the exam, you take a prep course, which is a much better, you know, option, I think. But I do think that if you have students who are going to take, then it's kind of your responsibility, regardless of the material you're using, to prepare them. A good course would prepare them for the exam as well. Yes.
Sure. All right. Okay, overall, what do you think?
I like it. I like it. I think it's a good one. It's a good one. I like the layout. I like the exercises. I like the range in terms of choosing how you're going to do your presentation, your language presentation. So you have options if you're going to use it or not, up to you. But overall, I like the book.
Yeah, me too. I'll definitely use it for this is first, right? So the FC.
Yes.
The old FC. Yeah, I would definitely use it. Yeah. All right. I think it's a wrap.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so, sir. Yeah.
So thank you everybody who's been here with us. Like, subscribe, and stay with us for World English next video.
Yes.
See you.
Interesting one too. Bye.
See you. Bye.